Chair now recognizes Mr. Biggs from Arizona.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Secretary, thank you for being here. When you talked about net zero by 2050, you're talking essentially about eliminating all hydrocarbon-based fuel. Is that correct?
Net zero suggests that it is also using some hydrocarbon-based fuel, but it has been decarbonized.
Can you name the benefits of fossil fuel in and of itself?
Can I name?
As an energy source?
Well, it is dense, and it keeps the lights on, keeps transportation going. It's an important part of our energy mix.
It's cheap, it's reliable, it's abundant, it's predictable, it's distributable, right?
It's all of that, and it needs to be cleaned.
And so when you have benefits to the overall benefits, when you talk about net zero and when our climate friends, they don't really include the personal benefits or the economic benefits. Can you name some economic benefits that come from fossil fuels?
Well, clearly our economy has been built upon fossil fuels. Our economy is driven by fossil fuels, but fossil fuels have also created an enormous problem, which is climate change, and that's impacting individuals and economies too. So let's clean it up.
Let's talk about some other things. With fossil fuels, you saw a dramatic increase over the last 130 years of longevity and mortality rates. Is that correct? That's
yes.
true, right?
Yes.
You also saw a dramatic increase in sanitation and health impacts that were good, right?
Well, I wouldn't know that I would attribute that directly to fossil fuels, but yes, we have seen an increase in longevity, increase in health.
So most, with the number of petroleum-based products that you have out there, it affects virtually every aspect of your life, whether what you're wearing, your health the apparatuses that you use, all of those come from petroleum-based products, right?
Petroleum-based products impact every aspect of our economy.
So PJM Interconnection, the nation's largest grid operator, released a report finding that the amount of generation retirement appears to be more certain than the timely arrival of replacement generation resources. What they're really getting at there is that we're reducing reliable energy resources before reliable sources come online. And that's really what we see happening, and that's the anticipation. That's why some states talk about rolling brownouts that are coming their way. They're very concerned about that, as am I. Let's talk for just a second about electric vehicles, if we can. So the funding came in the IRA and the federal budget estimated. Let me get this right here. In the 117th Congress, we passed the IRA. My Democrats colleagues did anyway, and they provided CBO and JCT estimated that the eliminate spending and tax breaks would cost around $400 billion by moving to electric vehicles, commercial electric vehicles, heavy-duty electric vehicles, tax credit for residential charging equipment, and $3 billion for postal fleet electrification. That was, they estimated that would have a net of $400 billion cost. Since that bill has passed, now for those same programs, the estimate is that the subsidies will be $1.1 trillion over the same period of time. Now, of that, $7.5 billion was generated for nationwide electric vehicle charging infrastructure, and yet it's been reported that we have now 4 charging stations, I believe it is, and that was reported by NBC. Does that sound accurate to you?
No, it doesn't.
Well, tell me how many new charging facilities do we have? Oh, I'm sorry, 7? 7. There's been 7 built in 4 states.
So let me just explain this. The National Electric Vehicle Initiative required states to develop a plan in order to be eligible for that $7.5 billion. All states did. We approved all of those plans. All of the funding has been released to the states. These are all state programs. So now 36 states have released solicitations to be able to build out those charging stations. 22 states have announced awards. There will be an additional 2,000 stations built by the end of 2024.
You're guaranteeing that there's going to be 2,000 EV stations?
That is what we forecast.
And that's your forecast. And the result is you're putting those in, the taxpayers are putting those in. All of these are taxpayer subsidized, and yet Ford can't can't even sell their cars. Most of these lots can't sell them. I would like introduced into the record the article where Ford is announcing massive losses of $1.3 billion that they're losing on an average $132,000 for every EV that they sell.
Without objection to order.
Thank you.